It's your boy Salim from Notorious S back with another video, baby. As you read the title, man, I got into a scuffle, got into a fight with my brother. Now that I'm talking about this right now, it's been about 2 months, but for whatever reason I thought about that instance where I actually got into my first fight in a long time. And I say that I felt good about getting punched in the mouth. As funny as that might sound, bro, I'm like, I'm thinking about what the fuck I'm saying. But to put this into perspective, a lot of us, like, because we live in a society that uh, wants to convince, for a good reason, most of us, everything is made so that we avoid confrontation, especially physical confrontation. And there's a lot of consequences that can ensue if you get into a fight and you live, and especially if you're like me, maybe you're like me, and if you are, then you're going to be able to relate. If you're the type of person that's maybe quick-witted or that seldomly gets told or proved that they're wrong, or they're just not wrong in a specific area of life, maybe because they know a lot about fitness and all these things, you kind of gain confidence that tends to turn or might turn itself over time into a little bit of arrogance, a little bit. And I think it takes arrogance sometimes, but and I'm not saying that I'm not grounded. Let me say that. Let me preface by saying this. But that's why a lot of people say you got to get into the gym. If you haven't faced adversity, and I did, I faced a lot of adversity in my life, and that's relative to the difficulty level of your life, obviously. But mine hasn't been easy at all, right? But when I got into this fight, and it was with my older brother of all people, right? But he's a ex boxer now. He wasn't professional, but he was good. He was winning competitions and he was winning fights, and most of his fights he won. And typically I try to avoid it, but I got a temper. And I don't know if you're like me, but a lot of times since I got a temper as well, I have a temper. And if you're somebody that has like pretty decent or big stature as opposed compared to most people, to the average guy, I'm like 6 foot, 194 pounds. And sometimes I'll get heated. In my mind, I'm like picturing the fight and I'm anticipating before it even happens. I think I'm gonna fuck this person up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, and I'm kind of, I don't want to be bothered sometimes because I could flip. My switch flips pretty fast. And the reason why I say I'm happy about getting punched in the mouth is exactly the reason. It's the same reason why Mike Tyson says everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, because it brings you back to reality. It cuts off that ladder that you're sitting on top of, thinking that you are going to react differently than than reality is going to make you. Reality is going to humble you really quickly, and it's in perspective. I'm talking about this not just because of the fight, but because of life. Like after that experience, because I had to leave on a trip to Africa, maybe 2-3 days after that fight with my brother, and it was a big fight. Like the neighbors called the police, and I felt shame about it because we had to involve people that live in their neighborhood, and that's not what you want to do. My mama was as you could expect any mom to do, right? She reacted exactly how you would picture it. But I was there, my mouth sore, and I couldn't completely open it because let me tell you something. I maybe took 3 to 4 punches back to back in my face, exactly like you see guys take it in the mouth in the movie, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you think you could duck and weave much better than you could actually do, and it's really funny to think about. But let me tell you, I hold my own. I held my own because I'm a big guy still. So as much as my brother's a boxer, like the fight ended pretty evenly, and I'm not trying to save face here by saying that, right? But I was like, man, okay, that feels good. It kind of wakes up the more animalistic, more warrior side of you, where you're like, man, you know what? I can't close my mouth. I can't really speak properly. I had to kind of eat in a specific way for like a 3 weeks because my mouth was still damaged and shit. And I was thinking to myself, man, I needed that. Maybe I'm gonna wash my mouth next time, you know what I'm saying? But the physical altercation, and that's a lot of people talk about, there's like always an underlying implied threat of violence between men when we speak. That's why we come up to one another with respect, not because we always want to do it, but because we know what can ensue if we don't. And the fact that I took that, the punches and shit, it really reminded me of that. For one, it humbled me in terms of my bravado that I typically carry with me. Right? We could delve deeper in another episode, right? Another video. But also, it makes you like, I don't know if you're like we're kind of, a lot of us are kind of sadistic, for lack of a better term. Maybe that's not the right term. But it felt good. I was like, all right, cool. I got my head straight now. You know what I'm saying? I got my head straight. And this isn't anything that needs to be much longer than what I'm saying, but I think a lot of us need that. I think we have overinflated senses of self that sometimes can get carried away, and that a good beating, voluntarily taken or involuntarily taken, could be a great way to solve this. That's why a lot of people will advise you to go and subscribe to a gym or wherever guys fight at, so to help you know what true pain is. And you know what? I agree with that. I 100% wholeheartedly agree with that, because a lot of us need that, because we've been brought up being such softies. And let me be clear, like, I've been in multiple fights in my life, but to be quite honest, I'm 23, and my last fight, I was maybe, like, my last real fight with somebody. Before this one, I was like maybe 20, 19. But when you get into a fight and you give throws and you take them, and like, it teaches you something about life. And the main thing is, like, you know what? You can anticipate things to go your way, but they're most likely not going to. And it's about how you're going to react. And it's a toughening experience. And it's really funny to talk about, but it's the real deal. It's the truth. It's the 100% truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I got for you, man. If you like the video, subscribe, share, and like the content, because it's free. And I'm going to see you next time. Peace.